It's your favorite version, Penn Simmons. Shout out Mikey T, the movie star. You're live on Report Card Radio.
All right, here we go. Penn Simmons, C-Teen Zone. Welcome to Report Card Radio, man.
Appreciate you for having me.
You know, I like speaking with my CT brethren. I've linked with Chris Webby, Snopra. Could you give everyone an idea of what the grind is like coming from Connecticut?
It's definitely hard in terms of, just you getting that support. But I feel like, if you're working hard and, you have that good quality music and people start, really rocking with you, then, the sky's the limit. You can pretty much do anything in CT, once you got those things in the bag.
So, I'm looking and I saw that you're actually featured on a top 10 national indie watch list, for your song Act a Fool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, shout out to DJ Platinum for that, 94.3. I sent him the track probably a month and a half, prior to it dropping. And, he was rocking with it. And, we were just having people, show some support. And next thing you know, I ended up on the list. And, it's definitely a blessing.
So let's talk about how you first started making music. When did you first start to take it serious?
Well, I've always been just locked in with music since I was young. So I started singing and writing when I was 6 years old. And literally, probably once I got to high school, I went to co-op downtown New Haven. So once I graduated from there, I didn't really dive in until 2015. That's when I dropped my first single. It was a single that I had on SoundCloud, but I completely scrapped it. So, but yeah.
Could you give everybody an idea of your style of music and what you're bringing to the game?
So me being an R&B artist, I feel like in terms of what I'm bringing to the game is definitely just painting a vivid picture for everybody with my music. Because I write all my own music and I just want to give people a story of whatever it is that I'm singing about, whether it be, from a party in a club to sex, a night out with, your girl, whatever it is. I just like to give people that picture that they can paint in their head to, to where they're like, yo, as soon as they hear it, I can see it.
Let's talk about your name and where your name actually comes from, Penn Simmons.
Well, that goes back into me saying, with me just writing my own music. I was trying to find an artist name for myself, and one day I'm just sitting down and I'm writing, and I had a pen in my hand, so I'm like pen, and then I was trying to get something to go with it. I also wanted to incorporate my name as well, so I just took Penn Simmons, mashed it together, and it started to click and really become a thing for me.
Who were some of your inspirations early on?
Growing up, I listened to literally a lot of everything. So from, Michael Jackson, of course, Usher, Chris Brown, Neo, the list really goes on.
What was it about some of these artists? I mean, these are some classic R&B artists that you've mentioned. What was it about them that actually inspired you?
Just what they brought to the game, in terms of Michael Jackson, the effect that he had on people with his music. I knew that I wanted to have that, that same effect on people personally. With, Neo and Chris Brown, their pen game is crazy. Especially Neo, because he writes for a lot of big artists. So, with me being a songwriter and an R&B artist, it was only right for me to just focus on the top heads of the game, really.
The R&B sound is different. It's different at least from what I'm accustomed to inside the studio. Mm-hmm. What's the vibe when you're getting into the studio on that R&B wave?
Honestly, it's you throwing a beat and I just vibe out really. I close my eyes and I get a feel for the beat. Once I'm feeling it, the first thing that pops to my head is it's a go from there. So I definitely it's just something that comes to me natural. So then, like I said, I love to tell a story. So anything that comes to mind, I can name like a door or something. I'm like, oh, a door, cool, and I can make a story about a chick walking through a door, and it just takes off from there.
So what project can we actually look forward to? What are you working on right now?
I'm actually working on my album right now, on my Audio Mac and iTunes. I'm releasing singles and covers right now, but I'm working on my album for sure. Don't have a name just yet, but the album is definitely in the works. It'll be coming. I know a lot of people have been like on my case about dropping the album for a few years now, so it's coming.
So speaking of that, let me ask you, what is it that inspires you to make a song, and what type of records are we going to be able to expect on this new project?
In terms of inspiration, it's really just whatever I visualize in my mind, really. So like I said, it goes back to me just saying, whenever I hear a beat, whatever feel I get from it, that's usually what I go towards. I don't like to steer away from that gut feeling that I get for going, in terms of what route I'm going to take the song. And with the album, it's more so about me being more versatile. So you'll hear a little bit of, rap. You'll hear me, not the typical R&B that people are used to. So I'll definitely be doing a lot of experimenting just with my sound and being more open to trying new things, and hopefully, everyone likes it and try to capitalize off of that.
Yeah, I want to talk to you about music. I want to ask you about music, Penn.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think, in your mind, how has R&B changed with all the different sounds?
It really starts with auto-tune, honestly, because auto-tune's like a big thing that everybody uses now. So literally anybody can, throw some auto-tune on and, have that melodic sound to where it's now an R&B thing. So for instance, with a lot of rappers now, they're making songs and they're throwing auto-tune on their records, and they're labeling them as R&B, song or album or whatever the case may be. So that definitely has a huge impact on the style of R&B and how it's changed over the years, but I don't necessarily see it as a bad thing.
So what's your thoughts on some of the new talents like Tory Lanez or YK Osiris?
Okay. Tory Lanez, I'm a huge Tory Lanez fan. I've been a huge Tory Lanez fan since, he was screaming out Canada, on his mixtapes, and just following him from when he first started to what he's transformed into now. So, watching him rap and then switch over to singing, it's like, okay, I see what he's doing. He can pretty much incorporate both into his music and, label himself as an R&B artist still, just because he's so versatile with what he does. And then with YK Osiris, he's definitely another top talent that's on the come up now too. And I'm actually just now diving more into his music. So
yeah, man, Tory Lanez really took it all, turned it all the way up, I should say. I remember linking up with him, seeing him at Circle House Studio when he was penning some work for Trina, actually, if you could remember some of their work together, actually. But do you think artists like Tory Lanez are actually bridging the gap between R&B and hip hop?
They definitely are, because, like I said, they're combining the two in their songs. So, and then when they're combining the two, it's the artwork is just amazing at the end. Like the product that you get from it. So, and things like that, I don't really like to place them in a certain genre, but it's hard for you not to. But they're definitely, closing that gap and just creating that, that this is just what R&B is kind of transforming into. And I think it's just another one of those things to where it's a generational change with, how music is going to transform over the years, to come in the future.
So what do you think about hip hop artists and rappers crossing over into the R&B scene?
I'm not really a big fan of it, but I'm learning to, accept music for what it is. Like, if we spend forever, putting things into a box, it's like, is it really getting anywhere in terms of the artistry? And like, for instance, with Lil Wayne, when he first started with the auto-tune thing, that kind of blew up and created the way for all the artists to hop on, making all their songs with auto-tune. And then, you see the Futures, the Young Thugs, you got, Tory Lanez, because, he's starting out with rapping. And then, he kind of got into singing, but Tory definitely already knew how to sing. I think that's where Tory kind of, closes that gap too, with the fact that he kind of already knew how to sing. So everything kind of, plays a part.
So, in this game, in this industry, Penn, there's no cheat codes.
Definitely.
So what is it that you're bringing to the table, man?
Listen, it's like I said, my pen game, me personally, I think I'm up there with the top tier. Like, and I know that's like, that's kind of big of me to say, but, when you believe in yourself and the work shows for it, why can't I be there?
Yep. And so in saying that, man, what's the plans for the rest of the year?
The plans for the rest of the year is to start getting these visuals out, finish up on the album, still drop my covers and singles along the way, and really just build my platform and my base so that way people can get a better understanding of me as an artist and start to see what I can bring to the table so I can take things to the next level. Yeah,
man, that's what's up, man. I really appreciate you taking the time. So I want you to let everybody know what your social media is. I'm looking at your social media right now, and I wouldn't normally be bringing this up, but I seen a red flag. I'm seeing a red flag right here, and what are you doing there on the gram? You technically asking to give away your virginity?
I'm not gonna speak too much on that. Those who know, they know. But that right there, it kind of started. I was asked a question on social media about if I was a virgin or not, and I just said the world may never know, and it's kind of just a thing that I've been carrying along the way with me. So people never really know.
So what you're telling me right now on Report Card Radio is we got our first interview with the V card.
Hey, the world may never know, man.
I just don't get it, man. How does a 23-year-old quote-unquote virgin write so vividly about sex?
I mean, they got people that write, erotica books, and they've never had sex before. You know what I'm saying? It's just all about the imagination.
All right, man. So overall, you've got these girls thinking you're a virgin. I'm gonna give you a pass on that, Penn Simmons. I'm gonna give you a pass on that. You're from Connecticut. We've all got our methods. Let everybody know where they can find you on social media, though.
All right. You can follow me on Facebook, Penn Simmons. My Instagram, I just made a new Instagram. It's pen.simmons. Twitter, it's pen_Simmons. And you can also find me on Tidal, all the streaming websites and platforms, Penn Simmons. And then also on Snapchat, you got Snapchat, get me on Penn Simmons. Everything's really just Penn Simmons.